Generally, people use marketing as very much like an advertising push. Hey, buy my stuff, just take it. And it's all about you and what you have to offer and give out to your customers, with almost like this entitlement mentality that you're expecting them to bite and be like, okay, great, they get it. And I see this happen a lot where there's a critical element of the people, right?
Welcome to Bookings in Bottles, where we pour a little bit of wine and a lot of wisdom. Today, I am so excited as we have a very special guest. Her name is Amanda, and she is the founder of Pragmatica Consulting. She's internationally recognized for digital doctor, and she's also an expert with over 18 years of experience helping organizations navigate complex marketing, monetization, and digital transformation gaps. Let's give Amanda a very warm welcome to Bookings and Bottles. Welcome, Amanda. It's so wonderful to have you.
My goodness, that's really sweet. Thank you so much. I love the intro. You should do intros for me more often. Definitely boost the ego.
Whenever you walk in the room, I'll do that. Amazing. Well, before we get started, I just wanted to say congratulations and well done on your accomplishment on running 2 marathons and an ultra marathon in the span of 6 weeks, all while moving house and launching your brand. That's just a side quest that I wanted to say, an absolute display in endurance. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if I've got mild PTSD after that. It was about 2 months ago, I think. It's definitely surprised me, like the recovery time post all that activity, and then like fatigue kind of gets in. I think a lot of the time, you've got adrenaline and just the energy. You just keep pushing, 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 and as soon as it's like, all right, down, calm, then it kind of hits you. And it takes a bit of time to sort of recover from that. So kind of like sometimes, when you, I suppose, given the topic of this particular show of yours, where it's like travel bookings and all that kind of stuff, it's like sometimes you kind of need a holiday from your holiday because it's been so eventful and back to back. So that's kind of like the feeling I had after all those marathons. I don't recommend doing like 3 marathons in the course of 6 weeks. It's nuts. But yeah, anyway, did it.
Incredible. Amazing. And it's so true that you say holiday after the, but I just wanted to congratulate you on that because I really think it's important to mention, like, oh, wow. But I wanted to actually speak about a passion project right now that you're busy with, which is called Sip Sister Society Wine Club, which completely matches the vibe of the show. So I would love to hear more about it. Please tell us everything.
I love sharing about it. It's probably like one of the most fun little side projects I've ever done. And unfortunately, it's still too early in the morning, so I've still got the coffee. I can't have the wine yet. Maybe next podcast we can do that. Yeah, so Sip Sister Society was just something I did off the back of like just a passion project. I've always been a massive fan of wine. I grew up in sort of northern suburbs of Cape Town called Durbanville Wine Valley. So the vineyards have always been my backyard, and I've been like introduced to the wine industry, not from a young age, from a legal age, don't worry. So that one. Kind of like fell in love with that industry and that space ever since. And I always kind of like wished that, well, I actually think to myself, if I actually did get into that industry as like full time, I don't know how I'd be able to function all the time because being exposed to that much wine, I don't know how some of those winemakers and wine reps actually do that on an ongoing basis. I think it's best safe I just keep it as a side hustle little project on the side. But Sip Sister Society came about as the concept of what is the female equivalent of a business golf day? And a lot of the time, like business networking, that kind of thing, it's like coffee shops, it's events, that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people can kind of relate to business networking, sort of very male, patriarchal sort of driven. And not everyone's a fan of golf or has the time to sort of do all the golf sort of things. And to be honest, if I'm like really, really honest, it came out of a bit of a kind of thing where an ex had a boys only wine club and I wasn't allowed to go. And I was like, really? This is still happening,
Yeah.
And I was like, well, then fine. I'm just going to start my girls only wine club and we'll just be so much more fabulous and dress up and have fun and have a ball. And so that's kind of what spawned it. But The real reason for starting Subsisters was just like fun little passion project on the side, bringing women together, inspiring each other, also taking the pretentiousness away from wine tasting and wine experiences. So yeah, we started that. I'm in marketing, so sometimes I have these little brain farts of like creativity and that, and then came up with the name Subsistence Society and hashtag we keep it classy, and try and say Subsistence Society 3 times or 5 times after a couple of drinks. That could also be quite entertaining as well.
I love that you're embracing what it is to be females. I'm part of a lot of female-only groups, and it's just lovely to be around females and have that feminine energy. I love that they're keeping it classy. It's really such a great and unique idea, and I think it's a great way to build community and, as you said, networking. So I absolutely love that, and I really would love to talk more about that, but we have a lot of things to discuss because you are busy with so many projects, and it is so incredible how you stay afloat with all of these. Digital Doctor is so incredibly interesting, and basically it's a brand that helps diagnose marketing's go-to-market and monetization gaps. First of all, I'd love to hear just a little bit about it, and then I'd love to hear from what you're seeing on the ground. What is the biggest digital execution blind spots that founders find themselves in?
Okay. I'd say part one, Digital Doctor sort of came about. I'll step back a little bit further to my career background and history has always been in digital media and advertising and specifically performance marketing. I got involved like very much into the technical space of that part of the industry. And there's a lot of jargon that happens in digital and media and marketing to the point of where sometimes you need your own glossary of like 10 pages of all the acronyms that are out there sometimes. So a big part of that in terms of when I started my consulting company about 8.5 years ago, pinch me, I can't believe it's been 8.5 years, a massive part. And I think a lot of people that are in the marketing industry can kind of relate to how much educating you need to do for clients, for people in order to understand marketing and how it fits within business. And it's not to say that people are ignorant to it, but it's to say that like you can't apply marketing in the same way as you can apply finances, logistics, construction, medical, like very sort of legacy traditional industries are much more easier to sort of understand. If someone says, oh, well, I'm a doctor, everyone understands what a doctor is. And a doctor of what? You're a doctor of cardiac or brain surgery, or you're a physio, all the different types of doctor roles that you are is very easy for people to grasp. But when someone asks you about your marketing, so you do social, oh, you build websites, oh, you do this, oh, you do those little ad pop-up thingies, it gets quite confusing. And it's so much more than that. It's very much, and it has evolved massively over the recent years. And also with the advent of AI, it's now evolving so much more. So it's a lot more complex and complicated, and people struggle to sort of grasp that a lot. So throughout my whole career in servicing clients, education has had to be at the forefront. We can't advise clients on strategies and good marketing tactics and initiatives to apply within their business if we can't explain it in a way that they can understand and can actually grasp, that they can relate to. So I've, made a name for myself in the industry of being like the queen of puns and metaphors, where very much my teaching style is to, I'll give you an example. Programmatic media trading. It's a big word. Most people will not know. People that are in the digital media industry, they will understand and that might resonate with them. But for most part, people don't understand. So I've had to be very creative in how to explain that. And it's taken years of refinement to which, if I have to explain to someone that doesn't understand or has no form of reference, I'll say, do you understand how the stock market operates? If you have any idea of how the stock market operates, well, that's pretty much what it means, just like for ad land. And so as business has kind of gone much more in terms of strategy, where we link business strategy with the go-to market and how you want to take your business to market, to the world, and how you communicate that out there. You want to now come up with various marketing campaigns and advertising campaigns to support that. And so linking that and being able to explain that from a business case and also not overwhelming people with all the jargon is quite a challenging thing to do. So what we've done is then spawned the Digital Doctor brand. As a digital doctor, I explain to people, no, I'm not a social media marketing manager. No, I'm not just a strategist. No, I'm not just a data analytics, or I don't just do SEO. We help businesses and the strategy of that, and we help businesses and clients, even at an individual level, navigate that space. And so I've used the digital doctor analogy, where basically I'm your general practitioner. I'm the GP. Everyone understands that they have their GP that they'll go to, and you maybe do your annual checkup once a year, or if you've got something little ailing or picking up the flu, you got to go to the doctor to get a script. Or if you've got something that's really ailing you, like some serious pain points in your business, you've got these serious symptoms about the business, like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this stuff on social media, but it's not returning in terms of good quality leads and sales and revenue, like something's not matching up. Addressing those symptoms is where I come in as a digital doctor to sort of diagnose and where the issues are actually coming from. So as a consultant and as a digital doctor, it just helps people to relate and land a lot better with people. And as such, then it's a case of I'll maybe refer them on to the neurosurgeon of SEO because their back-end systems are not working properly, or the chiropractor of data analytics, just to make sure everything on the back end of your business is working and operating properly. Or it could be a case of, the symptoms or goals that you have for yourself or your business might be a scenario of like social media. But maybe you don't need to have a big fancy agency doing all your social media for you. You can't afford it. So maybe all you just need is a personal trainer to help you flex your TikTok muscles a little bit and coach you on that kind of thing. So that's kind of where the whole premise and thing of the Digital Doctor brand came to be.
You're really making it clear. And you are, as you said, and I agree, is that you are great at creating these paradigms for people to understand these complex concepts better. And the Digital Doctor is really a phenomenal idea, coming in and giving a deep dive into what's going on. So I always speak about 80-20. When I ask people a question, what has taken you 10 years or 18 years, which is now automatic? In my experience and my background in the travel industry, I've seen travel agents particularly getting frustrated with their marketing efforts and how they do their marketing. They simply market the itineraries and get frustrated that it's not working. In your experience, what is one insight that you could give them to take away moving forwards?
Okay. Yeah, I get that. I think this also applies not even just to the travel industry. I've seen this apply across multiple industries of where I've served clients in the past and currently. Generally, people use marketing as like very much like an advertising push, like, hey, buy my stuff, just take it. And it's all about you and what you have to offer and give out to your customers, with almost like this entitlement mentality that you're expecting them to bite and be like, okay, great, they get it. And I see this happen a lot where there's a critical element of the people, right? I think for travel agents, me being a customer of a travel agent for a couple of years when I'm traveling on holiday or I'm traveling on business, what I value for the travel agent as opposed to just doing it on my own or going with something else is that personal service, is the fact that they understand me and my needs and the nuances, and it's customized for me. So perhaps as a travel agent, you might be carving a bit of a niche for yourself for business travel throughout Africa. And that's a very unique service that you provide, which would be very different for holiday travel or business travel in Europe, for example. So I would say for travel agents looking about changing up their marketing tactics is make it more personal. If you are a really good travel agent, then you are servicing your customers and your clients, and you are very personal service. You guys are basically PAs, like a global PA for people. So instead of just spitting out the itineraries and saying, well, this is the generic stuff, optimize it and bespoke it and speak towards the emotions and the issues and the challenges and the excitement that your end customer will actually feel, because then people can actually relate and resonate to it. I apply that same principle within my business. If I'm just explaining all the general marketing technical jargon for their business, which I know is there to help the customers, but they can't resonate and relate with it. You have to be able to communicate it in a way in which they can resonate and relate to. then you'll see a much bigger uptick in your return of investment. And when I say return on investment, I don't just mean financial investment. I mean the creative time and effort that you put in will start yielding those results for you.
I love that you're speaking about making it personal, because you're not saying something that's outside of the scope of what travel agents and travel industry professionals can do. They sit with raw data from the travel clients, dates, demographics, and travel behaviors, travel patterns, and they know their clients. So that's what I'm saying is like what you're saying is really, I hope people that are listening really take notes of this, is really speak to the people you're serving. You know what they like, you know who they are. Show that in your marketing. So thank you so much. That really was a great golden nugget for us. And thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
As we close off, I'd love to hear about, for our travel professionals is, or anyone listening to this podcast, is how can someone work with you? What does it look like working with you? And where can they connect with you? I will put the stuff in the podcast link. I'll
Okay.
put all the links below.
Perfect. So I'll put it in threefold because you've covered almost all three things in terms of what I do business-wise. Pragmatica Consulting, we're essentially the management consulting firm for the SME sector. There's definitely a need and desire for small to medium-sized businesses and even startups or even individuals that need expert advice and guidance, but can't necessarily afford it. And large corporate consulting firms won't even bat an eyelid for anything under 10 million or $1 million. So there's an entire SME sector that's been underserved, and that's kind of like Pragmatica's wheelhouse. What we do with that is we all about taking the intimidation factor out of it, right? We don't want to spook you with a massive project and a big, report just to tell you what nightmare you're in and then good luck to you and here's your bill and not helping, right? We're actively part of the process from start to finish. And the ways in terms of how we work is it's literally just a once-off consultation. It's a discovery process. And then based on the outcomes of that, we'll put together a proposal and a roadmap and a plan and a budget together for you. You at least then can decide whether you want to work and continue working with us further, or if it's something you just want to hold back on, but at least you get value from the get-go as opposed to investing in something and it doesn't really materialize. So that's the sort of Pragmatica arm, but that's primarily the B2B side of things. The digital doctor thing came about where, again, I'm just really super passionate about sharing my knowledge, skills, and insights and resources and being able to sort of do mentoring in that. And now the digital doctor is basically, you can also just book a consultation or sign up for a workshop. It doubles up as a coaching or a mentor, like your GP. You come in and you have your annual checkup if you want to come in and have your personal training sessions on and on go. It's a much lighter touch entry point into the consulting services that I provide for clients, whereas Pragmatica is much more in-depth consulting services for clients. And then the Subsister Society, coming back to that earlier, which is like the really fun passion project on the side, is just a community of women who love wine or want to learn more about wine and just take the intimidation factor and also just hang out and have girl time, We kind of curate events and that for that. And that's also a platform in which I try to really showcase support for women if they have their little businesses and that, to actually feature and spotlight that and almost create a bit of a networking and an inner society community, which comes into play there as well. So I think the ways that you can find me online, follow, is Subsister Society on Instagram, Pragmatica Consulting on LinkedIn primarily, and website, so pragmatica.co.za. And then I'm most active on LinkedIn. So you'll find me on Amanda Louw-Bester on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to put all the links below, but thank you so much for your time. It's been such a privilege to talk to you. And I think on behalf of my listeners, we hope to see you back soon. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Cool. Thanks, Simone. Pleasure.
And to my listeners, thank you so much. I'm so happy you joined us on this journey and sharing it with people. Be safe and have fun.